What if the internet shut down worldwide for a year? Imagine waking up one morning, reaching for your phone, and finding nothing. No messages, no feeds, no updates. The network is gone. Not just your Wi-Fi, not just your town, but the entire internet shut down for 1 year. At first, you don't believe it. You restart your phone, you reset the router, you wait, thinking it's temporary. But it isn't. This is not a blackout. This is not a glitch. This is the silence of the web itself, gone everywhere, all at once. The internet is the nervous system of modern civilization. Every second, trillions of signals race across the planet, carrying money, medicine, trade, and human connection. More than half of humanity depends on it daily. And yet, it is so invisible, so ordinary that we barely notice it anymore, until the moment it disappears. This is not a story of inconvenience. This is not about missing your favorite show or scrolling through empty screens. Without the internet, the world does not pause. It fractures. The internet is not just entertainment. It is commerce. It is governance. It is medicine. It is food. It is security. Global trade depends on it. Cargo ships crossing the oceans are tracked online. Ports receive schedules through digital systems. Factories depend on precise deliveries, all managed through invisible networks. Healthcare depends on it. From digital patient records to hospital supply chains, from test results to the operation of critical equipment, all connected. Money itself has become data. The vast majority of the world's currency is no longer printed on paper or minted in metal. It exists as numbers in servers, updated by transactions happening every second. Shut the internet down, and money itself freezes. To understand what this collapse means, we must look back. Once, empires stretched across continents with no faster communication than a rider on horseback. The Romans waited months for messages to cross their provinces. The rulers of China depended on couriers traveling along the Silk Road. Even in the 19th century, people waited weeks for letters to cross the sea. Civilizations survived because they were built for slowness. But ours is not. Today's cities, our economies, our entire way of life, they are designed for speed. And speed is built on the web. Remove it, and the structure begins to crack. So let us walk through the collapse, step by step. Day 1. Confusion. Phones fail to load. News outlets cannot publish. Banks cannot process transactions. People wait, assuming it will return in minutes. Day 2. Panic. Stock markets collapse into silence. Millions rush to ATMs. Cash runs short. Lines stretch for blocks. 1 week in, food shortages begin. Supermarkets, once tightly synchronized by online logistics, no longer receive timely shipments. Shelves empty. Panic buying turns to riots. 1 month in, global trade halts. Cargo ships sit idle in harbors, their navigation crippled. Air traffic becomes unreliable. Factories close without supply chains. Unemployment surges. 3 months in, governments scramble to build emergency systems. Radio and television return as primary forms of mass communication. Paper replaces email. But the scale of modern society overwhelms these slower systems. 6 months in, rationing begins. Food and fuel are distributed under government supervision. Hospitals are overwhelmed, forced to rely on outdated methods. Critical research, from medicine to space exploration, stalls. 1 year without the internet. Civilization has not ended. but it has regressed. Global cooperation fractures into isolation. The pace of progress halts. Nations turn inward. Life becomes local once again. Villages, towns, and cities disconnected from the greater whole. But beyond the systems, there are the people. Think of a generation raised online, now cut adrift. Students without access to the world's libraries. Children who grew up in digital classrooms, now left with only chalkboards. Think of families, separated by oceans, unable to call, unable to message, reaching for silent screens. Think of cultures, billions of voices silenced overnight. Songs, stories, archives, all locked away in servers no one can reach. The internet is more than connection. It is memory. It is the living archive of humanity. Without it, we lose not only the future, but the past. Yet, perhaps in the silence, there is something else. Perhaps humanity would rediscover resilience. Communities would be forced to grow stronger. Neighbors would depend on one another again. People would talk, share, rebuild. The pace of life would slow. Local knowledge would return. The skills of self-reliance, long forgotten, would become necessary again. But there is another possibility. Perhaps we would see the truth, that we built a civilization balanced on a single fragile thread, that our strength was also our weakness, and that once cut, the entire system teeters on collapse. And then imagine, after one long year, the switch turns back on. The web returns. Screens flicker to life. The digital hum floods the world once more. What happens next? Do we embrace it without hesitation, desperate to return to the old ways? Do we connect instantly, rebuilding the world we left behind? Or do we pause? Do we hesitate, remembering the year of silence and what it revealed? Would we rebuild the same world, or would we choose something different? The internet is our greatest tool. It is the foundation of our speed, our reach, our power. It connects us. It protects us. It defines us. But it is also our greatest vulnerability. A single thread, a fragile web, a hidden lifeline upon which modern humanity depends. If this is what happens when the internet disappears for a year, then we must ask ourselves, what if it never came back at all?